Brad Johnson here from johnson.audio, and today I'm going to show you something in Pro Tools Beat Detective that will make your drum editing stand out above the rest. Now, there are a lot of tutorials out there, and I do cover this technique in my full Beat Detective tutorial, but I'm just going to kind of focus in and show you because I don't really see this being implemented a lot in other tutorials, and I feel like this is kind of that secret special sauce that you've been missing in your editing. And what it is kick over snare and toms. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means that you beat detect all the kick drum hits first, and then when you have a snare or tom that goes directly on top of that kick drum hit, you leave it alone in the very beginning and you go through and you hand edit it and you push that stuff underneath the kick to make sure there's no flams and it just hits right on beat and it sounds awesome. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to show you what that means, what it looks like, and how it sounds, and how it's going to transform your drum recording. So here we go. All right, I'm in my Pro Tools session here and we're looking at a drum track and it's already pretty much edited. I'm just going to flip back between not kick over snare and kick over snare, and I kind of want you just to listen to the tracks, and then I'll go in and show you how to do it. So it's going to be very subtle, but again, with everything in recording, it's all the subtleties that add together to make an awesome recording. And so this is just those little things that I just feel like take your productions to that next level. It really makes just the difference in my opinion, but it's going to be very subtle. Kind of listen to it. I'm going to play the non-kick over snare version first, then I'll play the kick over snare version. And I'll kind of flip back between the two, and then I'm going to show you what it is that it looks like and then show you how to edit. So here we go. This is without kick over snare. With it. And without. Again, once again with it. It's just overall smoother. You're not getting so much of the little flams. I mean, again, it's super subtle. This drummer was awesome, so you're not going to get massive flams, but I'm going to just zoom in here. This is my already edited version, and you can see what I've done here is you can see how the kick and that snare are hitting right at the same time. How do I do that? Let's go over to the one where I don't have that, and you can see this snare hit naturally after editing. I have my trigger point right here for the kick, so the kick is right on the hit, and the snare is a little late, and so that's going to create that flam. You can't do a trigger point on this and a trigger point on this because you'll double trigger it and it'll mess everything up. So you really do have to go in and hand edit this. So the way that you would do that to make sure that everything is phase coherent, that you're not going to have stuff going wrong with your overheads and your other mics, is you have your groups over here. You have a group on your kick and you have a group on your shells, overheads, rooms. So they're grouped separately. And the way that you would go ahead and edit this, if it were before the fades, is you'd go in, you'd find out where the hit is, which is going to be right around here. I know this because if I look at other hits, the first part of the hit's right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just scoot this over like that. So now it's going to hit right on, and I'm going to go ahead and just scoot that. We'll create a fade here. And then now here's the next thing you have to look into is now that we pushed this over, we have pushed bleed over here. So now what's going to happen is we're going to get kick bleed in the very beginning of this hit, and we don't want that because that will mess up everything. So we want to actually go ahead and we can scoot this out a little bit. Right here, we don't have very many hits. So I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, meaning I don't have the bleed from the hit before it. And I'm just going to select that. I'm going to scoot this over, and we're going to cover up that bleed. And now I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to scoot this all the way over here. Create my fades, maybe line this one up like that, and there you go. That's how you create kick over snare. You have to focus on that bleed, make sure you get rid of it. If the hit were ahead of the kick, again, you would scoot that back, and you have to see there might be kick bleed or there might be snare bleed in front of the kick. So we got to do the same thing up here where you scoot that over and cover that up. And you just go through that and do that with all the hits. You come over and take a look at this one, see how it's super late. You would then again just take it and drag it over. You'd want to cover up that bleed, and that is how you do it. It's super tedious, but trust me, it makes a world of difference. And that is how you do it. Same thing goes with toms. If you have tom hits that are going to line up with the kick, you just look at the tom and you do the same exact thing. If you have snare and toms at the same time, I always favor the snare over the tom. So you will sometimes get a little bit of that flam action with that. If they're doing, kind of a snare and tom build with the kick, I will favor the snare over the tom every time. So hope that helps you. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching that. I hope it inspired you. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on Beat Detective, I made a video already, so you can check that out. Give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you got anything out of this. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions or comments. I would love to hear from you. From all my other subscribers, I appreciate your continued support. I am Brad Johnson at johnson.audio, where I just want to help you create music that people love. I will see you in the next video. Bye.